The leadership turf war in the Punjab unit of Congress party is spiraling out of control. It is no longer about intra-party rivals holding parallel meetings of supporters as show of strength. Rather, the feud has begun to spill onto the streets and disrupt the party's ongoing worker mobilization meetings being held in the preparation for next year's Punjab Assembly polls. Ma- However, matters have come to such pass that former CM Charanjit Singh Channi, who currently heads the party's Punjab campaign committee, and leader Sukhjinder Randhawa have refused to share any public stage with the state unit chief Amarinder Singh Raja Warring and the party's Punjab in charge Bhupesh Baghel. Joining me to discuss on this is our political editor Puneet Nicholas Yadav. Welcome on the show, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Sir, my first question to you is with this rival camp openly raising slogans against the state leadership, is the Congress party in Punjab witnessing another big blown leadership crisis?
Well, it certainly looks like because things are completely spiraling out of control, Shravan, because you see, till about a month ago or a month and a half ago, while everyone knew that there are these factional leaders in the party, there is a lot of tussle in terms of who is going to lead the party in next year's election. The Punjab Assembly elections are due around February, March next year. So there was nothing hidden about the fact that there are a lot of factional fights in the party. What was happening a month ago was that these leaders were largely meeting at, say, the supporters of Charanjit Channi would be meeting at the residence of Charanjit Channi. Amarinder Singh Raja Warring, who's the state Congress chief, he would meet his own supporters at the party office or at his residence. And things were, in a way, uh, you know, within these confines of private residences and party offices and all of that. What has happened now over the last 2 weeks is all of this kind of spilling out onto the streets. And this is happening at a time when the party is in the process of convening these, district-wise worker conventions to mobilize party workers for the for the polls next year. Bhupesh Baghel, who's the party in charge for Punjab, has been in Punjab for the last 1 week. He's been going from district to district along with Amarinder Singh Raja Warring, meeting party workers, meeting, party office bearers, and holding these conventions. But the visuals that are coming from these meetings are not of any kind of worker mobilization, but of worker unrest, where, in a hall full of Congress workers, it is the Congress chief of the state, Mr. Rajawarding, and the Congress in charge of the state, Bhupesh Baghel, who are coming under attack from Congress workers who are perhaps loyal to a Charanjit Channi or a Sukhjinder Randhawa or any of the other many factional leaders in the Punjab Congress, Pratap Singh Bajwa and Rana Gurjeet and all of these guys. So it's like a complete free fall that the party finds itself in.
Right. Sir, is this merely a show of strength, or are we witnessing the rerun of the crisis that hit the Congress party in the year 2021, just months before the 2022 polls were there?
I think it's gone beyond show of strength, to be frank, and it kind of looks like, yes, certainly a rerun of what had happened in 2021, but perhaps even worse than what had happened in 2021. See, what was the situation in 21? The Congress was then in power. Amarinder Singh, Captain Amarinder Singh, was the chief minister, and there was a rebellion led by Navjot Singh Sidhu against Captain Amarinder Singh, which all other factional leaders joined in. And finally, in September 2021, Amarinder Singh had to step down. He was replaced not by Navjot Sidhu, who led the whole rebellion, but by Charanjit Channi, who was nowhere in this picture. And Rahul handpicked him and made him the chief minister. He was also the first ever Dalit Sikh chief minister of Punjab. And the Dalits, of course, constitute over 30%, 32, 33% of Punjab's population. So it was a good move in that sense. But subsequently, between September 2021 and February 2022, when the elections were happening, the things were so bad that, Charanjit Channi, the CM, Navjot Sidhu, the PCC president, would not share this stage together. Things had become so bad, in fact, that I remember the party actually forgot to release its election manifesto.
Right.
And finally, on the day of polling, Navjot Sidhu called a press conference at his residence and released the party manifesto without the chief minister being present there. So it was that kind of a flux that the party was in. What is happening now is you're in opposition. So you're anyway in a weaker position than you were in 2021. You're in opposition. You've been reduced to just 18 MLAs in the Punjab Assembly. You may have 7 members of parliament. That's a different matter. But in the state, in the assembly, you have only 18 MLAs. And you've got at least 5 different aspirants for the chief minister. There's Pratap Singh Bajwa, there is Charanjit Singh Channi, there is Sukhjinder Randhawa, there is Amarinder Singh Raja Warring. All of these guys, senior leaders in their own way, they've got their own kind of, support base and political fiefs. But they're all at each other's throat. And the party which was thinking of launching its poll campaign very early in Punjab and, then kind of going on a pan-Punjab bus yatra of all leaders together, showing an image of unity, unlike 2021, now is again at a stage where Charanjit Channi, who's supposed to be leading the campaign, Sukhjinder Randhawa, who's supposed to be leading the core committee of the party, have refused to be on any stage where the state president Raja Warring and the state in charge Bhupesh Baghel are present. So, the whole plan of launching the party campaign has gone out of the window.
Absolutely.
And the central leadership is not able to visit Punjab because they don't know whether, if they go to a party sammelan or a political rally, what kind of slogans they'll be, welcomed with or slammed with. So it's a complete free fall, and it's moving towards perhaps a much worse phase for the Congress in Punjab, and that too in a scenario where till about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, the party was fancying its chances of coming back to power in Punjab.
Yeah.
Because there was very visible anti-incumbency against the Aam Aadmi Party.
Right. Sir, what's the Congress High Command doing? Why has the Congress High Command not stepped in yet into this tensions?
So, Shravan, I think, the main issue here is that the Congress High Command is part of the problem. It has become complicit in this chaos.
Okay.
2 months ago, and I have this on good authority, based on very reliable sources in the party, 2 months ago, an internal survey done by the party's own poll management, company or consultancy firm, whatever you want to call it, had submitted a report to the party high command saying that they need to change the party president. Raja Warring is not a good choice. They need to bring in Charanjit Channi at the helm. There is growing support for Charanjit Channi, which goes beyond his traditional, political kind of ground in the Malwa region. And he has now suddenly become grown as a leader who's not just seen as a Dalit Sikh, but someone whose popularity seems to be increasing beyond regions, beyond caste. And so perhaps give him a much larger role, bring him front and center of the campaign, get rid of Amarinder Singh Raja Warring, and then several other names were suggested for different kinds of roles. the Congress High Command conducted, at least to my knowledge, at least 8 rounds of discussions with senior leaders of the Punjab Congress. And almost all leaders had told the party high command that if we go into elections with Raja Warring as the party president, we are not going to win. The biggest problem in the state Congress at this point is Raja Warring's leadership. Now, despite all of those consultations, despite a report of your own poll consultancy firm, your own in-house survey, the party high command decided a kind of what the party thought, perhaps in its own wisdom, a please all system where they said, okay, Raja Warring will continue as the PCC president, Charanjit Channi will lead the party's campaign, Sukhjinder Randhawa will lead the party's core committee, Vijayender Singla, who's a Hindu face of the party, will lead the coordination panel. So everybody gets some position, and everybody remains confused on what their role will be in the campaign or after the election. And so, even the voter remains confused that, okay, if we do give our vote to the Congress, is the PCC president going to become the next CM? Is the campaign committee chairman going to become the next CM? Or is Pratap Singh Bajwa, who's the leader of opposition in the assembly, going to become the next CM? So it just created or added to the already existing confusion. And the Congress High Command ever since, and the moment this list came out, the unrest in the party cadre as well as in the public was very apparent. All these camp meetings and intra-party rival meetings started immediately. Bhupesh Baghel was rushed to Punjab even back then. And even at that point, he was in Punjab, he was in Chandigarh for 6 days. And for 5 of those 6 days, Channi, Sukhjinder Randhawa, Rana Gurjeet Singh, Pargat Singh, all these senior party leaders refused to meet him. It was only on the last day of his trip, and he had to extend his trip actually by a few hours because, on the last day, they agreed to meet him, and not at Channi's residence or at Sukhjinder Randhawa's residence, but at the residence of Rana Gurjeet Singh, who said that, okay, fine, I will bring all of them together to my house. You can come and meet, but on the condition that Amarinder Singh Raja Warring will not be here. So all of this was obviously reported to the party high command. And then what happened? The party high command summoned all again to Delhi and told them that Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge will not meet them. So all of them came to Delhi, they camped here for several days, and then they were directed to go and meet to K.C. Venugopal, who's the organization general secretary, who himself has been party to these appointments. So the high command has actually the largest share of the blame to take in what has happened right now in Punjab.
Right. Sir, if this party high command doesn't take corrective steps, could the party be headed for a split just before the polls, just like the 2021? It was back then. It'll be like a rerun or what?
See, 2021, as we know, after the manner in which the unceremonious exit of Amarinder Singh happened from the chief minister's position, he then formed his own party, fielded his own candidates. Of course, nothing came of it. But that whole mudslinging in public and, these factional feuds coming out in the open ensured that the Aam Aadmi Party came up with an unprecedented victory of 92 seats out of 117. And the Congress was reduced to 18. What is happening now is, and that's why I said it's perhaps worse, because see, when Amarinder Singh walked out, yes, the party lost the elections. They came down to 18 MLAs. But then a lot of the party leaders who at that point in time one thought would desert the party in its bad times have already over the last 5 years left the party. The ones who've stayed back the ones who are now caught in this battle for leadership are the ones that the Congress had relied on to rebuild the party, after that initial tsunami of defections. So,
Yeah.
what the party faces now is this question of whether the people who were supposed to rebuild the party are actually going to leave the party now. And that is, the only solution as of now to this situation is for Amarinder Singh Raja Warring to read the writing on the wall and perhaps step down of his own will, take moral responsibility for things going horribly wrong in the state under him. This is a PCC president under whose leadership, and he's also the Lok Sabha MP from Ludhiana. Under his leadership, the party has lost every single by-election that happened in Punjab in the last 4.5 years, including the by-election to the assembly seat that Raja Warring himself represented thrice, and from where the party had fielded his wife after Raja Warring became a Lok Sabha MP. Even that seat the Congress lost. So it's time, and then seeing the kind of bad blood that his continuation is causing within the party, he should kind of show a larger heart and say that, okay, in the interest of the party, I am stepping down, and the High Command should appoint somebody else. And the High Command should then perhaps in this kind of a scenario choose a compromise candidate that is acceptable to all factions, including Raja Warring. Because at the end of the day, Raja Warring is still a party leader, and he is the party president of the state. So they should also consult him, and then consult Channi, consult Sukhjinder Randhawa, consult Pargat Singh, Gurjeet Singh, Pratap Singh Bajwa, and all these other leaders in the state. Appoint a PCC president, and then with the understanding that, okay, we are going into elections with collective leadership, but then post-poll, enough hints should be dropped to the leaders on where they stand within the party's scheme. So that's the only way forward. Otherwise, if the High Command and if Raja Warring both remain stubborn about continuing in office, as in like Raja Warring continuing in office, I'm afraid that they might just push a lot of these rebels, so to speak, whether it is a Channi or a Randhawa, into splitting the party. And then perhaps, pushing the party in a similar situation as it was in 2022.
Right. Sir, doesn't this intense infighting in the Congress come as a big relief for the ruling party? I mean, the Aam Aadmi Party.
I think big relief would be putting it very mildly. The Aam Aadmi Party must be thrilled because, this is happening at a time when the Aam Aadmi Party was under siege. It had problems from all quarters. It was, Punjab being a Sikh majority state in a way, this was a state where the ruling party was in a daily kind of war of words with the Akal Takht, which is the highest temporal seat or temporal authority of the Sikh community. So you had the main religious anchor of the state against you. Then you had recurring issues of paper leaks, which, at the central level, at the national level, has just cost this government a big deal, and the resignation of its education minister. So you have paper leaks happening in Punjab. Then you have the old issue of drug addiction in Punjab. Then you have debt burden. The debt to GDP ratio for Punjab now stands at almost 40%. 39.9% is the debt to GDP ratio. The state's finances are in a complete mess. Then you have law and order issues in Punjab. There's a very visible resurgence of separatist sentiments in the state. All of these challenges in front of Aam Aadmi Party, and its principal and most viable alternative is, instead of fighting the Aam Aadmi Party, fighting itself, which is the Congress Party. So for the Aam Aadmi Party and for Bhagwant Mann, the Chief Minister, this is a huge, huge relief. He must be dancing at home.
Right. Yeah. So, if the Congress doesn't steady itself, are there larger political implications for the state beyond the electoral advantage that AAP may gain from this current situation?
Certainly, see, first and foremost, one must understand that Punjab is a border state and a very sensitive state. So, any kind of political instability in the state, any kind of situation which reflects poorly on the political landscape of the state is not good for Punjab. Secondly, as I said, there is already a sort of resurgence of separatist state sentiments in the state. This movie that released a month ago called Satlaj, and then
Yeah.
it was there on an OTT platform for about 48 hours and then was withdrawn. Uh, the kind of outpouring of sentiments for that movie on the issue of the police atrocities that had happened against Khalistani, both Khalistani militants as well as human rights activists and common citizens in the 90s. That shows the tinderbox that Punjab is. And so, uh, you know, whatever's happening right now, you also have a political entity called Akali Dal Waris Punjab De that has sprung up over the last 3 years in Punjab, which is a party that has openly espoused, the cause of Khalistan and separatism and all of that. Now, when you have the Aam Aadmi Party in facing its own challenges because of anti-incumbency, the principal rival, the Congress Party, facing its own internal chaos, the Akali Dal, which was earlier the dominant force in Punjab, which is completely, like demoralized and, in a way, electorally eviscerated. The BJP, which hardly has any ground of its own in Punjab, then it creates a vacuum for parties like Waris Punjab De to grow. And if these parties grow, naturally, with them, there will be a growth in the sentiments that they represent, which are your Khalistani separatist sentiments, and a kind of anti-state, anti-establishment sentiment. So there is also that kind of a repercussion to the chaos in the Congress party. And then, there's the general thing of the BJP, which may not have, as I said, any ground to stand on, but using this turmoil in the state's politics in a post-poll scenario to fish in troubled waters. And, if this kind of a situation leads to a hung verdict next year, with people being confused as the Congress party is right now in, who to vote for, which party to vote for, given the kind of situation in Punjab, you may very well end up with a hung assembly. And that then gives rise to the kind of politics that we've seen the BJP practice multiple times in the past 12 years in different states, of breaking away some MLAs from here, breaking away one party from there, and cobbling up a government without actually having the mandate to rule. So there is also that eventuality that the Congress needs to be worried about. So there will be multiple implications, and very serious ones, if the Congress doesn't steady its boat there.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for sharing more infos. Thank you.
Thanks.